this session. In today's segment, we are basically going to talk about what is data science introduction, and we'll also talk about the tools that are there in data science that we use and the applications of data science. In part 1 of this lecture, I've already talked about what is data science, why you should go for data science, what is the job role of a data scientist, right? We have already talked about those things. In today's session, we'll talk about the tools that are there, okay? And what are the applications of data science. See, whichever domain you are going to master, okay, whenever you are going to learn something new, always try to understand that what applications or what problems that particular skill or that particular knowledge will help you in solving. Okay, so we'll try to focus on all these things, and then I'll talk about not just data science tools, but I'll also talk about data analytics tools. Okay, because I know the audience that we have are of different, are having different needs. So I'll talk about the requirements of a data analyst. I'll talk about data scientist. I'll talk about AI experts also, right? So let's quickly go and understand these things. Okay. So if I talk about the tools, or let's say the skill set, guys. Okay. So the skill set that is required. Okay. See, the bare minimum requirement from company as of now in the domain of data science is that you should be a graduate. Okay. So apart from being a graduate, what else do they need? So if I consider data scientist, okay, or if I consider, let's assume, machine learning engineer, okay. So for them, what all skill set is required, and then I'll talk about for others as well. Okay. So for data scientist, you need to be good with Python programming language. You should be good with database management system, which is nothing but MySQL, which can be MySQL. There are other alternatives also. So MySQL is one. Then mathematics is something which you should know. Okay. Again, what all in mathematics? Stats, very important. Then linear algebra, calculus, and probability. Okay. In the previous video, I've also talked about the scope of all these things. Like in mathematics, you need to learn stats, but how much? Algebra, but how much? All those important points I've talked about in the previous part. So you can go through that if you have not gone through it yet. Okay. Apart from that, what is required? Apart from that, you should be good at machine learning. Okay. You should be good at machine learning. And you should also be good at something known as deep learning. Right? These are the skill sets which are required from a data scientist as of now. If you know something about cloud computing and all, that is kind of an added advantage. Okay. If you know something related to PySpark and all, that is an added advantage. But the bare minimum requirement on which you will be working on a daily basis is all these things: Python, DBMS, mathematics, machine learning, deep learning. Okay. Fine. Fair enough. Now coming to the next aspect, which is your skill set required from a data analyst. Let's talk about that as well. So, yeah. Okay. So let's talk about data analysts. What is expected out of them? Okay. So for them, Python is mandatory. Okay. Python programming language is essential for them. They need to know database management system. Okay. They need to know mathematics. Okay. But in mathematics, they need not know about everything. Okay. They should not know about probability as such. Like that is not a daily job routine of a data analyst. They should be very good at stats basically. Okay. Apart from that, all the other things which are there can be taken care of. But statistics is something which they should be good at. Then what? They should be aware of something known as Tableau, okay, or Power BI. Fine. So what is Tableau and what is Power BI? These are basically business intelligence tools which are utilized for representation of data visually through graphs, through charts, right? And those graphs and charts are very interactive. Okay. So for that purpose, we utilize Tableau or Power BI. In the part 1 of this session, I have asked you a small little question where kind of question was that what is the need of presentation of the model? The model was created by a machine learning engineer or a data scientist. And I told you that the job responsibility of a data analyst is to present that model. So why do we need that presentation? Basically, the presentation is taken care of by this Tableau or Power BI, which are nothing but your dashboarding tools. Fine? Okay. So this is why data analysts should be good at Tableau or Power BI for presentation purposes. Now coming to the third aspect, third part, which is nothing but your skill sets required from whom? From your AI people, people who are into core artificial intelligence. So let's talk about that also. So if you want to get into artificial intelligence, you should be good at Python. You should be good at DBMS. You should be good at all the aspects of mathematics, which I mentioned earlier. So I'm just writing down mathematics here. Okay. So you should be good at stats. You should be good at linear algebra, calculus, and probability. All 4 of them. Apart from that, you should be good at machine learning. Okay. Not just that, you should have some sound idea of deep learning as well. Okay. And the list is not ending anywhere sooner. You should be aware of natural language processing. Okay, which is your NLP, and you should also be aware of computer vision. Okay, this is what is required from a person who is into artificial intelligence. Okay, so you can see for all 3 of them, there is something which is overlapping. Okay, there are a few things I would say which are overlapping, but then again, there are some speciality in all of them. For example, if you look closely here, Python is the bare minimum for all, right? Python is the bare minimum for all. So Python is here, Python is here, Python is here as well. Similarly, database management systems, the overlapping part. Okay. Mathematics also to some extent, I can say. Okay. To some extent, mathematics as well. Apart from that, if you look closely, specifically in case of data science and artificial intelligence, Python, DBMS, mathematics, machine learning, deep learning. Here also, Python, DBMS, mathematics, machine learning, deep learning. And you need to know something extra, which is your NLP and computer vision in case of AI, which is not mandatory if you are going to opt as a data scientist. Right? So these are the job key roles, or I can say the tools which are basically used. Whatever skills you need are the tools that you will be utilizing. As simple as that. Okay. And then let's come to the second part of our discussion, which talks about the applications basically. Okay. So what are the applications of data science? Now see guys, if you remember in the previous video also, I talked about the need of data science. Okay. Over there, I told you that data is getting generated at every place, and especially in countries like India, data is getting generated, but it is not managed properly, I would say. Okay. So that is why you need to know data science. Okay. Now, the best part of data science is that it can be utilized in any domain, because see, data science is what? It is something to do with your data. Okay. And the best part is that data is generated everywhere. So if I talk about the applications, okay, if I talk about the applications of data science, it can be applied in healthcare. Okay. How? You can utilize AI, or you can say data science, for predicting that whether a person has diabetes or not, whether a person is affected by COVID-19 or not, just by looking at the chest x-rays and all. Okay. So apart from that, pneumonia detection, heart attack detection, skin disease detection, okay, all of them can be taken care of by data science if you are looking into the sphere of healthcare. Similarly, finance, okay, finance is something where data science can be utilized heavily. Okay, you can predict the stock price of a commodity, and accordingly you can invest if you are a daily trader or you are an investor, whatever. Okay. Similarly, you can also try to understand, if I'm talking about finance, let's also talk about the insurance industry. Okay. So insurance industries, or any other kind of companies which are to do with finance and insurance, all those things. Over there, you can perform something known as forecasting. You can perform something known as prediction. Okay, where you will be able to know that how well or how bad a scheme or something or the other is going to perform. This is true for IT sector also. IT as in software sector, I would say. Okay. For example, let's say Samsung is going to launch a new mobile phone. Okay. And Samsung claims that it is kind of a flagship program which is being launched by them. But Samsung is not very sure that along with so many features inside this mobile phone, how well this mobile phone is going to, how well it is going to behave, or how well it is going to attract the customers in the market when there are so many, better competitions, like Apple is there, then OnePlus is there, right? So there are multiple competitors of Samsung in the market. So before launching this mobile phone in the market, Samsung will try to perform something known as forecasting. Okay. And it will try to predict that how well this new mobile phone of Samsung is going to perform in the market, and how that analysis will be done primarily based on the features of this mobile phone, the competitors, what sort of mobile phones or what sort of features are they providing, what is the price range, okay, and all associated informations, right? So this is how applications of data science is there in almost all the sphere. Not just that, guys. Even in edtech companies, okay, like there is something known as Byju's, there is something known as Great Learning these days, right? They are all pioneers in their own domain. Even for our company, we have been utilizing data science from quite a good amount of time now. So any edtech company that you name can be utilizing data science to their fullest. Okay, whether it is something to do with the admissions, or whether it has something to do with question generation and all, a virtual assistant for students and all, data science and AI can be helpful for us in every domain. Fine. So that is why saying that data science has its application in almost all the sphere would not be wrong, because data is getting generated every time, everywhere. And that is why utilizing that data with the help of data science is our objective. Okay. And since data is getting generated everywhere, that means data science has its application everywhere. Okay. So I hope this point was clear from my side. And now that's it from me in this session. We'll see you all soon. Thank you.